I made my character Smutch. Looks pretty tough. Like, look at his face, bro. He literally looks like Aragorn. Looks tough as fuck. I've only beat it 4 times. I think, including the level 1 run. Wow, it actually looks really fucking good. Imagine Dark Souls 1 and 2 look like this, man. Okay, it's not a parry, I'm retarded. I don't know. I just don't like the areas of this game. Good bosses, that's about it. Oh shit. Roll jump. Like I'm Smutch. Butch. What the Alright, what the Blumpkin? I don't like this phase. Nice. Easy. Infinity War showed him how powerless he is without the Hulk. These past 5 years, he's had to live with the devastation of their failure, a failure that perhaps he could have prevented if only he knew how to use the Hulk for good, how to control it. Then once they retrieved the stones and returned to the peasants, they learned of Natasha's death. He learned of Natasha's death. All of a sudden, the idea of someone having to sacrifice himself is that Jumbo. So much more. Everyone starts fighting. The team is thrown dweeb. Until out steps Professor Hulk, because that was the only way to get the Hulk to come back out. He merged two into one being to prevent another type shit. By sacrificing who he was, who the Hulk was, and becoming this new thing. I'm level 1 right now. I wanted to start as a knight. Then I was like, I want my stats to be even looking. That's what I care about. But let's just already level. Let's go strength. Don't need anything else. Alright, then we're gonna go get that Estus shard by doing that tree skip. Combination of the two. Wrong way. He was made for this because it is and always has been a terrible privilege. But instead of that, it's just Shrek. He's just Shrek. There's only Shrek now. Shrek is love. Shrek is there you have it. The original 6, the finest hour of their lives, disrespected, ultimately beyond compare, just plain. Don't let it nice. Powerfully present themselves as having killed off only half of our beloved original 6. Dude, make it. Everyone's dead. Tony's dead, Cap's dead, Nat's dead. Dude, make it. War's a baby. Hulk/Banner doesn't exist anymore. Nice, made it. Final hurrah to the original team that started it all. They had many opportunities to flesh out their arms, make them actually the grand concluded finale they were apparently
Oh.
seeing. Nope. They decided to give everyone a time.
No way. No way, and I just lost my ember, bro.
But basically nothing.
Oh my gosh, no
Killing
freaking
them
way.
off one by the end of it. And sure, you can be like, oh, but I never liked this band video. I like video. They got the brand or fine. Here, I'll feed them their art right now. War Machine is not existing in no art. They about a single independent thought this entire film. Nebula did the MacGuffin to bring Thanos into the spotlight. It's a bit of a moment having to confront the fact of being a toxic mentality.
No fucking way.
Interesting, like, I don't know, with like extending a hand to help her own passing the present. No, instead of that, she just shoots her. Here, give her a second chance. She wants to move past her mistakes, but guess what? The top really just went through the weird situation of having two Nebulas under the mouth. So bam, the devil was denied. And all that does is bring the friends to the gang in the beginning of the movie. Actually, in regards to his contribution, he's and Ron are pretty equal. Actually, the Rat might outdo him a little bit. Maybe they should make a new film about the Rat. Holy Rat! Man. And come on, I'm going crazy, aren't I? I'm never gonna recover from making this fucking video as the part 4. Conclusion. So, yeah, that was basically it. So many things, interesting concepts, endearing characters, captivating storylines, and Endgame basically squandered all of it. Like, seriously, I can't overstate how truly amazing I feel the feat they managed to accomplish with everything leading up to this film. The idea of the cinematic universe is kind of pointing with other franchises trying to hop on the bandwagon, incorporating them left and right just to stuff their IPs in your face without understanding what makes them so great. With Marvel, the cinematic universe meant the creation of a solid feeling world, with real locations and characters to escape into, to believe in, and then to continuity. This undercurrent of Thanos slowly emerging from the fog, perfectly hidden in the background of other standalone movies without intruding on their storyline, until finally exploding into the foreground with Infinity War, telling us that all these individual elements, these locations, these stones, characters, these stories, these things that they were all building up to is finally here, and the void was going to be recognized. And fucking they just get rid of them, and then make the climactic movie pretty much not about Thanos at all. Just this last minute attunement of this out of nowhere time skip paired with this out of nowhere time heist, undercutting literal decades of tension, and then it was just over. What was meant to be the culmination of one of the most sincere and heartwarming superhero stories to come out of the 21st century, somehow the sequel, or even the threequel, depending on who you ask, to one of the most well-constructed, well-characterized
adventures
in the Marvel universe there was, ended up being just so completely devoid of any heart or even real obstacle, honestly. There was a plot, sure. The heroes needed to fix what Thanos broke in the previous film. Collect the stones from the past and snap their fingers in the present. But there was no story being told. Of any character overcoming anything internal throughout that process. Of any grander theme being explored that would give this film any meaning. Marvel's other installments, as much of a spectacle fest as they were, still had meaningful Civil War, exploring the genuinely difficult question of how to deal with the reality of the past.
You got like an invisible wall here or something?
Steve refusing to trade lives with Vision, the more asking Peter to promise the killer if Thanos ever got to her, by having this undercurrent of characters forced to sacrifice their loved ones for the greater good, and showing how each of them failed in some way. And
My
for the
man.
one who came out on top here of villains, the only
Alright.
person who didn't falter when faced with the same decision, the movie actually said
Let's go.
something interesting about the inherent sacrifice built into getting the happy endings you want. Whether that's heroes saving the day, or villains killing half of all life in the galaxy and retiring to a random farm. Endgame had every chance to be about something. Perhaps it was the themes of sacrifice, having the characters come to terms with its necessity on the path towards getting what they want.
Thanks, Andre.
Showcase the true gravity that comes with such decisions. Or maybe they could have leaned harder into ideas not giving up. Actually have the characters free.
Already has it equipped. Kind of cool.
Weighing down on them throughout the entire film.
Alright. Let's go.
Just anything. Instead, all we got was a loose collection of cringe clips and wacky adventures with essentially high production blooper reels. They're spurred with a bunch of disconnected moments of sadness whenever characters suddenly had to die. All of it laid on top of a story so bare bones it was ostensibly equivalent to a fetch quest in a video game. Just point A to B, B to C, fight a boss, and then it was just over. And I really thought Marvel was better than this.
Alright.
Could have been better than this.
Shouldn't just be like starting here, in my opinion. I don't know. Maybe this game is actually better. Dark Souls 2, look at this shit. It's cool as fuck. Alright, maybe it is better than Dark Souls 2. Fuck, I don't know, man. I don't know, I literally cannot decide, man. I can't make up my mind ranking Dark Souls games. It's too hard. Can't do it. Fuck these dogs though, man. Fuck Dark Souls 3 dogs. Fucking bitches. You fucking fucker. Fuck you.
And we have that can help with a big experience. But what the filmmakers need to do is to sort of not get lost in all that and focus on the good character. And the two things of the first Avengers were just they never ended up. So many people there, so much spectacle, so many visual effects. And we need to be funny about it. But the most interesting thing about the Avengers is find a world where all these people in the same room together. And what would they do when they were together? And again, we never want the spectacle or the comedy or the outrageousness of different planets and aliens people are from.
Let's go this way this time. I want a new weapon. Fuck this weapon, its ass. Fucking club has negative range on this bitch.
Real, genuine stories of what it took to live the life of a hero. Even from the first Iron Man, from the very beginning, they weren't just a company solely adapting what was in the comics, hoping to make a quick buck from a change in media. They were a company that wanted to tell great stories.
Wait, is this guy not dead? Are you serious? Are you freaking serious right now? Are you serious?
Did you know that line was improvised? I didn't. No, seriously, and not the line too. The entire idea of him revealing his identity at the end of the movie. That was something in the comments they were looking about.
Fuck these niggas, I'm running down.
Identity very much hidden until
oh, you bitch boy.
Number 55. Only for him to do the reveal to, like, save a puppy or something. But no, the folks over at Marvel decided to completely go off script and have him drop the bombshell right last second at the end of the movie just because it felt right. And it did feel right. When Tony makes the decision to reveal his identity, it feels natural. Because after all, it was the perfect culmination of what the entire movie was about.
Fucking juked, losers. Holy shit, that was tough.
This intimate story of a single guy realizing that he's made mistakes.
Oh, not cool.
The real story of a person deciding that he can, and more importantly, wants to be a hero. And at the end of the film, standing in that photo, having just gone through the first of many battles of the Undertaker with Iron Man, being confronted with the idea of the person he used to be, he suddenly realized how far he'd come, and that he didn't want to hide it. So, you know.
I am.
I really, really love Marvel. I love living with these characters, checking in on them every couple years or so. To me, Marvel is a studio that made feelings real. by emphasizing the more flawed or human aspects of what it took to do
You make
these
it.
characters
You
do,
make this
it
jump.
transcended the realm of fantasy into the
Hell yeah,
genuine
pussy.
stories of individuals choosing to be heroes, individuals choosing to take responsibility for their actions, to stand strong.
Isn't there something up
even
here
when
though?
the world was telling them
Like a
no,
ring
to
or some shit?
mature so that someday they too might be worthy to lead, to learn how to take the shit life throws at them and control it.
Bro, I could have sworn there was something up here.
Believe in better, and no matter who you were in the past, as long as you choose to be good starting today, you will get a chance to set things right. And finally, understand that
Maybe that was like New Game Plus or something. I
even
don't
if the
remember.
weight of the entire world is on your shoulders, it's still important to have work-life balance. I really, really wanted to love Endgame. And for a second after watching it for the first time, I thought I did. After all, so many fun things happen, and so many sad things happen.
Let's go, a new weapon, nice. Rapier. Yeah, that could be nice. It could be good. Oh, I can't use it though. What do I need? 12x. Fuck, should have put some in dex. Also, this run back fucking sucks. How did they already start off the game with a shitty ass run back? It's like this level design is kind of stinky.
Endgame was supposed to be the climactic story to cap off its industry changing saga of film. It was good because
Is it supposed to bring you to the dancer bonfire too? Like bring you to or not bonfire boss fight? Is it supposed to bring you to both of them? Like I don't know, I don't understand it. But I think this is supposed to be the shortcut.
Couldn't help but feel like, what a
Oh, fucking Flibus. Oh! Oh my gosh. Alright, well, we need another video to watch. Make it like 15 minutes. Let's go. Dexter. Show they didn't understand moral dilemmas.
Dexter. It's easy to forget that this was everyone's favorite show for a while, which is understandable. The series revolved around a great character, and it had an awesome premise. An unassuming forensic technician is secretly a serial killer who kills other serial killers. The character was created by Jeff Lindsay in his book Darkly Dreamer Dexter, which I thoroughly enjoyed, and which the first season followed fairly closely. But after that first season, the show's writers were able to do what the Game of Thrones writers never could. They successfully Dexter was even better than the first, and the first is what got me and so many other people hooked.
I'm so dead already.
To be a classic. Yet despite that early success, Dexter never quite reached its full potential. To understand why, you need to understand the kind of story that Dexter is telling. You probably noticed that every episode, aside from the very first, started with previously on Dexter. Dexter is a serialization. It tells one long, continuous story. You wouldn't want to watch the episodes of that story in the wrong order because if you did, the series wouldn't make sense. But not all shows work that way. Some are episodic. One of my favorite episodic shows is Poirot, Agatha Christie's iconic detective, who's been portrayed by many, but none that can hold a candle to the great case.
I'm getting booted on right now.
Dexter, you can watch Poirot in any order you want. It makes almost no difference because at the end of every episode, the show basically resets. Poirot never changes. He has no reason to. He doesn't have a specific goal that he's trying to achieve, and he doesn't have a dark secret.
Can't use a mail breaker either. It's like the same weapon, literally.
He's good at solving murders. That's it. Dexter, however, does have a dark secret he's trying to conceal. He doesn't want people to know he's a serial killer.
I think Rerat's down here or some shit.
That secret is a big part of what made the show exciting, but it's also where the trouble began. Whoever was in charge of the show did not want Dexter to change. They wanted him to remain the good guy serial killer who never gets caught, all the way up to and even including the very last episode, which absolutely sucks. Yet as terrible as the ending of Dexter was, the issues the show had were set in motion long before he became a lumberjack. I actually think everything wrong with the show can be traced back to one fateful decision that occurred in season 2, which is arguably the show's best. For the entirety of the season, Dexter has been trailed by Squid, an excellent
Holy maneuver!
Dexter.
Oh my god. Unreal.
Suspected something was off about Dexter and is now convinced he was involved in the ice truck murders of season 1.
I know you're connected to the ice truck killer.
Could you be more vague?
These two have several clashes and close calls along the way, but things come to a head when Dokes catches Dexter red-handed.
Jesus fucking Christ, you're the Bay Harbor Butcher. I really hate that name.
Now, I'll admit it's kind of ridiculous that Dokes, who's some sort of ex-military specialist, basically trips over himself, allowing Dexter to get his gun. But as stupid as this is, it still sets up an excellent moral dilemma. One of Dexter's defining features is that he lives by a code, one that was taught to him by his adopted father, Harry, and that basically boils down to, don't get caught and only kill people who deserve it. This code is what keeps Dexter safe and relatively ethical, but more than that, it's what keeps him him. It's his identity. Dexter kills bad people, and he doesn't get caught. Yet with Dokes now locked in this makeshift prison, how can Dexter stick to his code? If he lets Dokes go, Dokes will turn him in, and if he kills Dokes, then he'll have killed someone who didn't deserve it. No matter what he chooses, Dexter won't be the same person afterwards. It's hard to overstate just how pivotal this kind of decision is, not just for Dexter, but for anyone.
Aw, you bitch.
Poirot, for instance, faced his own moral dilemma in Murder on the Orient Express, which has been adapted to the screen at least 3 times that I know of. In each version, the shady Mr. Ratchet is found stabbed to death in an isolated train compartment, and Poirot has to figure out who amongst these 12 passengers is guilty. After gathering the clues and interviewing everyone, he realizes they all are. When the legal system failed to convict this child killer,
Oh,
they
you
took
bitch,
justice
dude.
into their own hands. Now,
Why do they do so much damage?
Poirot faces his dilemma.
So tell me how much I need for another next level.
Committed premeditated murder. Unlike Dexter,
740.
Poirot isn't really down with the whole vigilante.
So I need like 1500 for...
Justice than the rule of law, monsieur.
Which is why he tells this group that he has every intention of turning.
Holy dick,
Yet when the
fart,
time
penis,
comes to tell the
fart.
authorities, he
Please.
instead makes it seem like the true
I'm running.
culprit is still at large. Whereas
the
the
fuck outta
original
here.
movie with Albert Finney and the latest version with Kenneth Branagh both played up the comedic
Oh
angle
my
of
gosh,
Poirot.
I'm so
The
fucked
show,
in the
which
butt.
unsurprisingly handled the story best, drove
Hell
home just
nah.
how wrenching of a decision this was for him. Don't get me wrong, Poirot is a funny character, but first and foremost, he's a deeply moral person who's dedicated his life to justice, something he pursues even when it's inconvenient. He's convicted his own friends before, and yet this time around, he lies to the police, which in effect makes him an accomplice. After doing so, he clutches a rosary and fights with tears. This is what makes moral dilemmas so compelling. No matter what you choose, the choice is going to cost you. The cost for Poirot is he feels like he's betrayed himself, betrayed God even. Returning to Dexter, his dilemma is even more difficult. Poirot may have thought what he did was wrong, but he at least believed he was doing it for the right reasons, which were in no way selfish. Dexter, however, knows killing Dokes would be wrong, and that it would be purely selfish, and that it would completely violate his code. Since he doesn't want to do that, he looks for a third option, and he seems to find one when Dokes unwittingly becomes the prime suspect in the FBI's search for the Bay Harbor Butcher.
Sergeant James Brooks. He fits the profile. Yeah. He has a need to roll out personal justice.
Using the opportunity, Dexter plants evidence that further implicates Dokes. Now, if he lets Dokes go, then Dokes will be blamed for the Butcher murders, and
Nice.
Dexter won't have violated his code. This is really when Dexter was at his best, when neither Dexter nor us, the audience, knew how he was going to get out of these dilemmas, or if we should even want him to. However, just when the show was at its most compelling,
So
it
cute.
made its biggest
Is that
mistake.
the one for Guru?
Before Dexter could finalize his plan regarding
think
Dokes,
so.
his insane ex-girlfriend Lila showed up, realized what was happening, and killed Dokes herself.
What the fuck are you doing? No! Turn it on!
So why didn't this work from a narrative standpoint? Remember, moral dilemmas are supposed to cost you something, which begs the question, what does this cost Dexter? The answer is nothing. He gets everything he wants. Dokes takes the fall for the Butcher murders. Since he's dead, he can't point the finger back at Dexter. Since Dexter didn't do the job
Nice,
himself,
there's
he
our
never
weapon.
had to break his code, and since Lila is a violent sociopath, Dexter's able to kill her without violating his code, thus tying
Oh,
off
shit.
all consent. He gets to remain the good guy serial killer who never gets caught, and then come back the same person at the start of season 3, the same way Poirot comes back the same person at the start of
Pussy.
every episode. But again, Dexter isn't like Poirot. He's more like Walter
Pussy.
White. Breaking Bad has lots of dilemmas to
Pussy.
choose from, but I'm just going to focus on this one that took place over the first few episodes. When these rival drug dealers showed up to kill Walter and Jesse, Walter used the power of chemistry to fatally poison him. Except one of them didn't die. With him now locked to a pole in Jesse's garage, Walter faced his dilemma.
Hope I make it easier. You just got dead, don't you? No, I just killed him. Let him go.
What does he do with this guy? He's afraid that if he lets him go, the guy will just turn around and kill him. But he doesn't want to kill the guy himself either. Yeah, he tried to kill him before, but that was in self-defense. Killing him like this would be an execution, which goes against who Walter thinks he is, the same way killing Dokes goes against who Dexter thinks he is. After agonizing over what to do, Walter decides he'll just have to let him go and go to the end of it, which he nearly does until he realizes the guy is holding a piece of broken glass that he plans to use as a lethal weapon.
Don't fucking kill me.
So Walter makes his
Let me get back.
kills
Pussy. Oh, shit.
Walter definitely changes for the worse. This is what a well-executed dilemma looks like. Nobody swooped in at the last second to save Walter from making a difficult choice and from paying a price for it. Though Breaking Bad and Poirot were obviously telling very different stories, one critical factor they had in common was they respected their characters enough to not bail them out from making difficult choices, even if it meant we, the audience, might view them in a darker light. That's why the resolution of Dexter's moral dilemma was so disappointing. Unlike Walter and Poirot, who both paid a heavy price for their decisions, Dexter wasn't even allowed to make one. And as for the decision he was going to make before Lila showed up, to frame Dokes, let him go, and then stick around to see what happens, I refuse to believe he'd actually think about it. If his plan worked, Dokes would die in prison, and if it didn't, which I find much more likely, Dexter would get caught. He may be good at covering his tracks, but the real reason he's able to get away with killing people for so long is because no one suspects him. But if Dokes told everyone, including the FBI, who the Bay Harbor Butcher really is, Dexter would lose his most valuable asset, the ability to hide in plain sight. Why would he voluntarily give that away for something that's going to break his code no matter what?
I need to change my controller.
He's caught between the code he lives by and the life and every minute that he cherishes. He has to give one up.
So keep using the clip.
And though the show wouldn't allow Dexter to make that choice, there's nothing stopping us. So what do you think the real Dexter would do? The answer is up to you, but as far as I'm concerned, he would have killed Dokes.
I don't remember what I'm supposed to do, to be honest.
And the show's definitely better off with him in it, but there's really no other alternative that works narratively with this dilemma. The resolution would Lila fail, and if Dexter runs, then the show is over. On the other hand, if he killed someone he regarded as a good person for no other reason than to protect himself, he'd have felt terrible, like he betrayed who he really is. And though we, the audience, would understand his actions, he'd still be absolved. In other words, it would have been great drama, but instead, whoever was in charge of the show was hell-bent on preventing Dexter from doing anything that might turn us, the audience, against him, even if the alternative made him less interesting, which is exactly what happened. After this cop-out, the show went way down. Even with John Lithgow's stellar performance as the Trinity Killer, the next 4 seasons all blended together and not in a good way. It wasn't until season 7 when Deborah learned the awful truth and the net surrounding Dexter seriously started to close that the show returned to form. Are you just serious? It was exciting, it was heartbreaking, and it ended with another great moral. It was exciting, it was heartbreaking, and it ended with another great moral dilemma. Now under the most pressure he's ever faced, Dexter lured Maria LaGuardia, his longtime boss, into this shipping container where he planned to kill her and make it look like someone else did. He's doing this because Maria, who always thought Dokes was innocent, has finally figured out that Dexter is really the butcher, and she's on the verge of being able to prove it. Similar to Dokes, Maria is
use the fucking broadsword anyway. It's better than the rapier, I think.
Does he give up the life he loves and run, or does he give up the code he lives by and kill someone who doesn't deserve it?
Look, where doesn't end? She doesn't even begin to meet the code.
It's kind of fitting that the show's 2 best seasons both contain the show's best moral dilemmas, and after season 2 botched its dilemma by having someone else make the choice for Dexter, 5 years later, the show had a chance to redeem itself.
Okay, so we could upgrade her now.
Fate and
broadsword or rapier.
So, what did the show do?
Rapier.
It made the exact same mistake. I don't get it. Why isn't Dexter allowed to be bad? He's a serial killer. What's really painful about this is there was a good ending here. I know there was. reference, not just to this season, but to the entire show. The abomination of season 8 never even needed to exist. For instance, what if Dexter decided to run? Maybe he'd reunite with Hannah somehow, and they could live secretly ever after.
I don't have any armor still,
While I
right?
was watching the show, that's honestly what I was hoping for.
Let me pop all
the
these.
immediate issue with that ending is it's not really dark enough. It kind of lets Dexter off the hook. To address that, he could straight up kill Maria, which would cost him whatever morality he has left, and make it clear beyond any doubt that he's no longer a good guy serial killer. He's just
I think I can buy some armor.
that definitely could have worked. And if Dexter goes full evil, then it sets up a potential showdown between him and Deb. But there is one more option. Even though I think Dexter would have killed Dokes in season 2, it's not guaranteed that he would have killed Maria 5 years later. For one, she doesn't fit the code. For two, unlike Dokes, Maria has already publicly accused Dexter of being a butcher. If she wound up murdered right after this, Dexter would look pretty suspicious. And lastly, over the course of the series, Dexter develops more and more of a conscience.
Somewhere along the line, the fake life that we created as a cover for me to kill became real. It's not fake to me anymore.
As he's preparing to kill Maria, his imaginary father asks him, where does this end?
Where will this end?
And Dexter has no answer. Deep down, he likely knows that if he goes through with this, he'll just keep killing, whether it's...
So is this shortcut
But
right
what
here?
if at the crucial moment, Dexter realized he just couldn't do it? If that happened, he would in effect give himself up, and Maria could simply arrest him. At that point, Dexter would lose everything, and everyone that he cares about. It'd be a sad ending for sure, but justifiably so. Dexter's story has always been a tragedy. He may have been ridding the world of bad evil, but he destroyed a lot of good people along the way, including those he loved. If Dexter had been allowed to choose one of these outcomes, and then accept the consequences of his decision, it would have been a fitting send-off to a great character. But instead, we got what we got. 2 good seasons, 2 mediocre ones, 2 god-awful flaming piles of garbage, and 2 almost great seasons that were both held back by a show that didn't understand. And good season fitting send-off to a great character. But instead, we got what we got. 2 good seasons, 2 mediocre ones, 2 god-awful flaming piles of garbage, and 2 almost great seasons that were both held back by a show that didn't understand more.
You bitch. Who the fuck shot me with a fucking arrow, you stupid bitch? Fuck you. Fucking bitch. Yo, fuck this guy. He's a fucking pussy. Fucking loser. Lame ass motherfucker, bro. Holy shit. Alright, nice. We got a bow. Alright, wait, we need another video. That shit went by in 1 second. Shit. Let's watch this bullshit.
I've done about 7 or 8 runs of Elden Ring, and I've beaten Melania once. The first time was on my very first run. I used pretty much everything, including the minions. The second
Holy
time
bitch,
was
you're a
doing
pussy.
The very first challenge run I was getting. That run, get it to Melania,
Oh my god, dude. Dude, what the fuck? This game's ass. He just literally did the same fucking moves 100 times in a row. Fucking dumb. Fuck this pussy ass dude.
Hated her. I hated her because of that one move that I'm sure is the reason you hate her. Water. That's right. I'm a water. Or at least, it was. I still kind of am, to be honest. I don't love Melania, but I still like her more now than I do. When I beat Melania at level 1 last time, I beat her because I stopped her from doing water power by throwing a crossbow at her head. Good trick. I highly recommend anyone fighting her to do this, but in this video, I'm going to beat her again at level 1. I'm going to do it through sheer trial and error. And with positive dose.
Could go fight Dancer right now if we really wanted
A
to.
fraction of the time it took me last time. With science.
Alright.
The last video
Science schmience.
edited live commentaries without a script where I narrated my learning process and a challenge run. Well, in this video, the bosses are a lot harder.
Fucking Bort. Dumb name.
So rather than make a long video where I excuse myself, I open and long stretches where I don't really have anything of value to say, it's going to be a much more condensed video. So
whoa, what is that?
what tools I need to get to it. It allows me to keep a lot more depth on the process and provide a little bit more insight into why this work, not just for others, but for you. But first, let's get the drill in the pan. Talk about what's set important to this. Okay, so today I have 20 cold girls.
Oh, yes.
This is the weapon. The trap goes up there. So this is a pattern actually what happens is of the game of the blue and it's called the fusion and you introduce the trap and that's the game this is a little bit of dancing that I am and still help this weapon does have connection to the trap.
Holy shit. Barely. Fucking barely won that shit.
I know this year as usual. I've got some pretty good muscle memory with Millennium because I've spent God knows how many hours reading the level 1 last one. But it's been a long time. Definitely the boss I'm the least familiar with. And I've never used this weapon for this actual video. So here we go. Yeah, had a dodge vertical dance without the frostbite as well. So really I have already gone in there once before just to see how much damage it's with this weapon, if it was going to be viable in any way. I think I'm going to be okay. So let's just go in there and try it out.
Alright, let's do that.
I see them. And we're just going to let it take
that.
This is the hard again. And
then let's see if we can upgrade the weapon. Do I have another
good amount of time just to get the muscle memory?
Titanite shard? Don't.
Just to see what I can get.
I need another Titanite. Oh, that's retarded. I need another one.
The thing about Millennia is there's like a real balance between being aggressive and patient with it. If you can knock her out the stomach.
No, let's go with health.
But Lucy does this thing where she kind of waits around, and if you just jump on it, that's when she kind of strikes. So that's good. It's pretty good. Anticipating waterfowl pretty soon.
13 decks for that and 2k. Oh.
God, no. Yeah, but, ooh, tough luck about that. I've talked a lot recently about how the bosses of Elden Ring are less of a skill issue than a knowledge issue. But how do we solve the knowledge issue? Specifically, how do we solve the most difficult knowledge issue in the game? And for me, Millennia is the most difficult by far. Even more than Freener for Dawn. While the cross slash was annoying to deal with, and with a wider variety of moves that were difficult to avoid, waterfowl is a special kind of nasty. Because it has very, very different ways of avoiding it, depending on your range and knowing how to avoid it. Understanding the knowledge issue isn't enough. Because execution is extremely precise, more so than any other.
Wow, that shit looks good as hell.
So what can we do to
Super cool.
and win the mental game? And the odds are against this.
Oh, the fucking banner? Fuck you.
Such a low margin of error. If Elden Ring is a knowledge issue, then we need to optimize the way we learn. In order to do that, we need to understand how we learn. Now, I'm going to get extremely nerdy and sciencey with you. Bear with me. It's important, and it will give you important context to how you can improve in these games. When you process information, that fires a chemical reaction, and neurons zip along synapses. The more times that specific information fires, the stronger those synapses become, and the easier that information takes to be processed and retrieved. It's like a highway that's getting more constructed the more it's used.
Holy fuck. Thanks, man. I'm gonna kill you now.
It's the reason why you have a much better chance of remembering something for a test if you study a little bit.
Sorry, you're like a bad guy or something. I don't even know why I'm supposed to kill you.
You haven't had a chance to be.
Thanks for the basin.
So in simple terms, that's how we learn. We build these synaptic
Oh crap.
connections.
I'm dancer now, bitch.
The more easily we can But one important thing to consider is that
No damage. Holy fuck.
You've probably heard of short-term memory and long-term memory. It's a pretty common misconception.
Gosh, I'm not winning this fight, not gonna lie.
Short-term memory isn't remembering what you had for breakfast. It's the memory that we are able to hold active in our minds for a very brief period of time, usually about 30 seconds. The reason that phone numbers have that specific number of digits is because that's about the number of digits that we're able to hold in our short-term memory at a given time. Anything outside of that is long-term. So when we're talking about trial and error, which is how we learn and know, this is the kind of memory we are typically relying on. But even long-term memory has lots of different distinctions.
Actually, no, I'm just gonna call it a day for now.
Because I forget.
Going to bed at 1:30.